Earthlings. Today is July 15th, 2024, and this is episode 27 of MindMosaic. Welcome back to Health Month, July, baby. It's summer, it's July. We got to keep our bodies and minds in the healthiest, most vital condition. And a huge, often unsung aspect of this recipe of livelihood and health is the importance of rest and just doing nothing and completely letting go and letting your body and mind and spirit do what it does in those times, which is heal and grow and develop. We need rest just as much as we need exercise, because they are two sides of the same coin. If you rest all the time, you won't grow. If you exercise all the time, you'll burn out. That's all it is. And this goes for the body, but this also goes for the mind and the spirit. It is just as important to rest, take time away from work, productivity, just to be with oneself and to find that sanctimony and peace in the present, regardless of what its circumstances might be. That is what I'm here to talk about today, and not only speak of, but also create, hopefully, an environment or a setting or a situation in which you can feel comfortable and free to let go of the burdens you carry, your responsibilities, to take a moment. Could just be 5 minutes, could just be 1 minute, 30 seconds even, to just detach, come into the moment. And in doing that, you will make more progress than by just grinding, going nonstop. So without further ado, let's get into it, and let's talk about the importance of rest in the equation of health and fitness. Productivity is important. It's huge. It's what makes life worth living. To have a project, to have something meaningful that you can pour your time and your energy into, whether it's developing a healthy body, whether it's creating a elaborate machine or a beautiful piece of artwork, whatever your chosen endeavor may be, it is just as important in the process of creating it to stop and to not create it, to let the processes do what they do, the natural processes, allowing them to unfold, putting all of it to the side, stepping out of the driver's seat, and just experiencing the moment as it is, as you are. That's it, as you are right now. Letting go of the striving and finding what you're seeking through the striving in the present moment, because that's actually the only place that it ever is, which is crazy. The thing we're seeking through constant work is to be able to have peace, to have meaning and purpose, and to be able to rest and relax. Period. And the hang-up, the obstacle that most people face in doing so comes from the lack of acknowledging that which we are seeking through everything we do is available through the act of doing nothing, and through the act of just allowing and experiencing the present moment to be as it is, whatever it might be. That's meditation, that's detachment. And detachment, it has a bad rep, it's weird. And I think part of it is due to the overemphasis our society places on work and hustle culture. But really, detachment is super important. I don't know, I think detachment is kind of seen as this almost nihilistic, sociopathic lack of consideration or compassion. And I think that is such a twisted, narrow analysis of what detachment actually is. It's coming towards it from a really weird perspective, and because of that, getting a really weird angle of what detachment actually is. Sure, there's elements of that are constituents of the vast holistic notion of what detachment is, but that's not what detachment is. Detachment is so universal. Its definition is hard to put in a box. To me, detachment is kind of a process, but it's also kind of the opposite of a process. It's taking yourself out of the way and allowing the process that's already happening to happen through you, because we often become these really misshapen channels, conduits, through which the expression of nature and the universe has trouble flowing through. And that leads to these sort of strange, often painful situations that we find ourselves in so often in this society, because of the emphasis placed on the other side, which is hustling, being productive, working, grinding, going hard, not sleeping, not resting. It's only half of the recipe. The other half is found in detachment from it all. Just detach. That's what allows you to fall asleep. No one falls asleep at night worrying or thinking. No, sleep comes when that stops, when the mind runs out of things to worry about, when the mind is done having things to worry about. That's when the natural process of sleep, which we need, it's a physiological need, rushes in like a water, like a wave under our feet, and sweeps us away into rest. Rest is huge. There's a reason we have day and night and sun and moon. It's because they are both necessary for the process. So detachment is definitely a idyllic thing, and in theory it's powerful and beautiful, but in practice, especially depending on how much sort of dogmatic cultural programming you've endured, it can be like very difficult to untangle yourself from these ideas that you're always supposed to be doing something productive. It can be a challenge because we're tied to it. We're velcroed onto that idea. And so it can be a lengthy and arduous process to detach. But it is kind of like riding a bike, because the more familiar you get with the feeling of detachment, the more you realize that it's not a scary thing at all when you're actually going through it. It's like, pulling out a tooth or something like that when you're a kid, like a loose tooth. It's like very scary. You don't want your, mouth to fall off, or I don't even know. And you have all this anxiety, you have all these thoughts, worries, all these like different scenarios that you play out in your head about how it could go wrong. But then you actually do it, you're like, oh, that was literally not that bad at all. That was like totally fine. And so then the next tooth is easier, and the next tooth is even easier. And it just keeps getting easier because you develop a familiarity with the fact that there is literally nothing to be afraid of. That there is literally only more peace the deeper you go. The further you get from the need or even just the drive to do something, create something, become something. The further you get from that, the closer you get to, I'd say, contentment in the moment. And peace. And a confrontation, an interaction with your true self, your more true self, your more authentic self. That is what you encounter when you sort of swim in those deep waters. Whether it be through meditation or fasting or near-death experiences or just like dreams and sleep. Solitude. You find a deeper you. A you that you have always known yourself to be, but that can get lost in the games that we play in life. It sort of fades into the background noise. And so it is through this practice of detachment, and you can access that through meditation is the best one in my opinion, but meditation can mean different things to different people, and to me, my meditation practice, I think, is sort of abnormal, and I also think that that's a good thing. I think that everyone should kind of find their own path towards what we're all ultimately seeking, which is just that. It's just being able to be at peace in the moment, right? So there's these strategies, there's these tools, there's these different tactics that we can use as sentient beings with thoughts and feelings and an inner dwelling self to access that inner dwelling self, which is at peace already, and to dwell in that state of peace with that. So let's sort of fly through some of these real quick. I mentioned meditation. Meditation is probably my favorite one of these strategies for finding peace, for finding rest. But meditation, to me, I do it in kind of a weird way. Because I have ADHD, it's very difficult for me to focus on, well, really anything. But the more abstract it is, like focus on your thoughts or focus on your breath, it doesn't really work for me because it's not concrete or tangible enough for me to really place my attention on. So what I like to do is a practice called, I think it's called object focus meditation. If it's not called that, then I just made it up. And it's basically the act of focusing on a physical object, whether it be a feather or like a candle or a seashell or just like a rock. It could literally be anything. You place your focus on that, and every time your focus diverges from it, you just bring it back to that. And when you practice this a lot, you develop that skill of bringing your focus back to something that is constant in the face of things that are changing. And that's like such a good skill to have, because the world is constantly changing, and in life we're faced with a whole vast spectrum of happenings and situations and distractions. And so to be able to cultivate this skill of unwavering presence in the face of that is so useful that it's almost impossible to talk about. It's something that it needs to be experienced. You experience it through the practice. And meditation also doesn't have to be something where you block out a certain amount of time in your weekly schedule to sit down with a candle and meditate. No, I'm meditating right now. I meditate when I'm at work. I meditate at the gym. I meditate when I'm scrolling on Instagram. Because you actually can. Maybe meditate's the wrong word, but whatever meditation strives for is accessible in every moment, not just those moments where you burn incense and chant Om. Not to disparage those religious practices in any way. Those are ancient, beautiful, ceremonial tools. But you don't need it. Those tools are like tuning forks, or they're keys that give you an easier way of accessing that presence. Music and incense, these things, they sort of prime your mind to operate in a state of observation and listening, rather than engaging and acting and disturbing and interfering. But again, you don't need it at all. You don't need it at all. For me, something that really just does wonders is just the breath. And not even focusing on it. Just feeling it. Feeling how it feels to just breathe like that. A deep one, like a deep, full breath. It's grounding. It's very just anchors you. And I think that's kind of what this whole episode is about, as I come to understand this more, is that what I'm talking about is an anchor into the sanctimony and peace found within the present moment at all times, that you can ground yourself into in order to have a solid foundation upon which then you can then build a cathedral of excellence. But you need that foundation. You need stability. And that is found right now. And nowhere else. Right here. So whatever you're seeking, look around. Here. Now. Look around. Look within. And you will actually find that thing that you're seeking. You will find it in a more pure form. then whatever vessel or channel you think you might want to discover it through, whether it's a nice watch or a expensive car, hot girlfriend, lofty apartment, or a good job, or whatever it is, whatever you think will grant you happiness is just something that is delaying and widening the gap between you and that happiness that you're seeking. We are powerful beings. We are powerful spiritual, mental beings. We don't need any totem. We don't need any magic wand to express the worth, the richness, the love that is within each of us at all times. That is free because it belongs to you. There is nothing that will grant you peace or happiness or anything that you're looking for except for yourself. You are the only thing that can allow yourself to have that. There is nothing that will grant you peace that is outside of yourself. There is no material possession or experience that will allow you to find anything other than what you already have access to fully in this moment, which is literally more than you could wish for. There is no external medium that will give you access to what you already have, because you already have it. It's like someone trying to sell you your own face or your own eyes. It's like, no, I got that already. I think that discovering that is an inevitability within life, throughout life. It's one of the landmarks on the journey. And that is to realize that you have it. It's nowhere outside of yourself. It is what you are. It is within you. It is of you. It's you. It's what you are. And it's yours to enjoy. That's like the gift. That's the gift of this life. Is the lesson, the teaching, that you could have a million beautiful things, and none of it actually even comes close to the worth that is within you. Alright, so we've talked about meditation as a tool for detachment, as a tool for accessing the inner peace that is within each of us. And as I've said, meditation can be practiced in any moment. That is the essence of it, ultimately. The goal of meditation is to blur the line between meditation and non-meditation. Life is a meditation. Life is an opportunity to find presence in a sea of chaos, really. Randomness. To find that unwavering, just constant stability that's just there within you, beyond the, endless array of faces and costumes and opinions and beliefs. There is a deeper layer. It goes deeper than that. You go deeper than that. And you can discover that part of yourself by just choosing to, and having the courage to be alone with yourself and see, pierce through the illusions of all the things you think you might be, and to actually discover the truth. You get that. You have that privilege. You have that opportunity, as all humans do. So that is really the sort of ultimate encouragement that I'm trying to send your way through this laying on the floor video, is that you can rest. In fact, you should. Like, for instance, right now, there's just dogs barking so much. It's like the whole neighborhood, all the dogs decided to go insanely crazy while I'm trying to film this video. There's a plane going by. I'm hot and itchy. But you know, it is what it is. And I can still be at peace in the face of all of that. Sure, the video, audio quality might not be as good, but that's just another thing. That's just a more complex way of being worried that the dogs are barking and being annoyed at that. It's all the same. It's all just the mind doing its job, really. Because the mind looks for problems, because the mind is a solution maker. But you are not your mind is yours. But it can often lead us around, especially when we think it is us, when we think we are the mind. But you aren't. We aren't. And realizing that just opens up space in the psyche, in the heart. Space for love, really. Space for allowance. Space for love, I think, is really what it is. So with that said, I don't know if I covered it all. Didn't really have a script. But I think that's a good thing, because I didn't want this video to feel rehearsed at all. I wanted it to feel in the moment, because that's sort of what we're talking about here. So yeah, I think all of this noise, all of this, all these obstacles that I've faced in trying to make this video just kind of hammers the point home even further, because it underscores the fact that it's just noise. And you can still hear me. And you can still understand what I'm saying. That's really what it is. It's understanding in spite of the noise. Choosing to listen. To what is, in my opinion, pretty self-evident as the truth. And that can be found anytime you want. Anywhere is here. It's here with us. There is always another, and that other is you, waiting for you to unify, integrate, actualize, and individuate whole of it. But don't worry about it. Just enjoy. Just enjoy. Soak it in. Don't take anything too seriously. Don't worry about things that are out of your control. Just relax. And breathe. And rest. And meditate. And sleep. And that's it. That's literally it. I'm done. But I am going to say one more thing. If you ever feel overwhelmed, like you've been scrolling on your phone for way too long, put your phone down, stare at a wall. Stare at a blank wall. It's like a good, it's a good, it like rebalances the scales. It tips the scales back into balance. Yeah. Don't forget to do nothing. Alright guys, I think that's about it. Hopefully this was good. Hopefully it was relaxing and allowed you to let go of some of the pressure of the world. Because that's really all I'm trying to do with this one. Is grant you permission to give yourself permission to just be as you are, as things are. Anyway, yeah, that's about it. That's as much as this channel is gonna channel today, because that's it. That's all there is. That's all you really need to know for this one, at least. We'll get more into some other stuff in the next video, next Monday. So yeah, enjoy it, and I'll see you next time. Peace.